Good evening to all.
Good evening.
It is my great pleasure and privilege to welcome you all for the illustrated and esteemed Professor CYK Krishnamurthy's 9th virtual mode memorial lecture. On behalf of NIQR, on my own behalf, I am welcoming today's chief guest, TQM Krishnamurthy, our past national president and former technical advisor and advisor to MD Ashok Leyland Limited. We have today's speaker, our esteemed Mr. G. Krishnaswamy. Normally we used to call him as a GK, former head of corporate quality, RSB Transmissions India Limited, and a QA head, Sundaram Brake Lining Limited. Now he is working for many industries for Deming Awards, including Ashok Leyland. He was with me for the past 40 years. He is working along with me for many companies for obtaining the coveted Deming Award for the many companies. I welcome him for today's lecture. We have, on behalf of NIQR, I am welcoming CYK's family members and the invited friends. I also welcome NIQR office bearers, past national president, secretaries, all branches, chairman, secretaries, and office bearers and members of the NIQR. On behalf of NIQR, I take the privilege of welcoming you all once again. Today's unique and highlight is Sri CYK's memorial lecture. Chief guest is Sri KNK. Speaker is Mr. GK. All Ks are here. We are all going to develop our knowledge because of the K. That is very, very important today. I'm also eagerly waiting to hear the lecture today along with all of you, as well as the chief guest address this evening. Thank you very much. I once again welcoming you all. Thank you.
Good evening, NIQRians. Good evening, today's GK, KNK sir, and today's speaker, Mr. GK. As Dr. Swaminathan rightly said, even though his name is G. Krishnaswamy, we used to call him as GK in short form. He is a freelance consultant, over 42 years of experience in various industries like automobile, started with automobile and continued in chemical and garments industries, worked in QA and R&D department and operations. Especially, he is very particular about quality management system. He is a system-oriented man, and he has worked for ISO 9002 start with, and continued with the 9001 and QS 9000, 14,000, and the OSHAs. And finally, he ended with the Deming Prize and Deming Grand Prize, earlier called Deming Grand Prize, and recently called as Deming. Earlier called as TQM, and recently called as Deming Grand Prize for so many companies, including SDL, where we have worked together. Trained on quality management TQM in Japan by AOTS Juice Council through cluster approach by professional like Suda-san. He is a lead auditor in ISO 9000. He is a lead auditor in QS 9000, lead auditor in ISO 14,000 and ISO TS 16949. Worked with the leading Japanese TQM consultant, Professor Suda-san for TQM, Professor Kazuyaki Suzuki for TQM, and CEO Yamaguchi for TPM, and Hiroshi Osada. He started his career in TVS Sundaram brake linings and moved to RS transmission and head of corporate quality. His work experience, fertilizers and chemicals, garments, plastic industry, and automotive industry. He is doing the current assessment as a freelance consultant for TQM and TPM practices. Important clients are RSB Transmission, Tafe Motors Bhopal, and Blowplast Kenya, and Jamshedpur. Served as head of corporate quality in JSB Transmission for last 10 years and continuing as advisor. RSB Transmission design and manufacture propeller shafts, axles, gears, gearbox for all OEMs in India and exports a small amount. He is also associated with NICAR for a long time. He has worked with the CYK and conducted more programs in DOE. Last but not the least, he is a good friend of mine and well-wisher. Thank you one and all for the opportunity given to me. Welcome, GK. Thank you.
Thank you, Murugan.
Thank you, Murugan sir.
Thank you.
Floor is for you.
Okay. Thank you. Before I start my program, I just wanted to say a few words about only. I will not take much time about CYK and my association with him. Briefly mentioned by Murugan already. I have worked with him on various programs in NIQR and mainly on DOE. He is a very, very soft-spoken person, as mentioned by Mr. Rangarajan. And I thank all of you, the previous speakers, and thank you, Mr. Murugan. So I will share my screen and start. Probably now the time is around 6:15. So I will try to finish it before 7 o'clock. Is it okay?
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay. I'll briefly explain about the concepts of TQM first, and then explain a few examples of tree diagram and link with FMEA or SOPs, so that it becomes very useful and it becomes more practical. Probably 50% of that will be theory and 50% of will be practical. So are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So even though the duration is 50 minutes, I'll try to cut short it by 45 minutes. So as I told you, I'll start with basic concepts of TQM. And TQM is a set of systematic activities who will carry out by the entire organization. And what is the purpose? The purpose is to achieve the organizational objective and to provide products and the service to satisfy the customers. And this probably we will see how we are doing continuously in the TQM journey. I'll give you some examples of systematic activities, entire organization, and how we are achieving the organizational objectives. And the word management is rotational PDCA. I do not know whether you will find these words in any of the TQM book, but generally this is the word, this is what we have been told and we have been taught by the various gurus. And systematic activity is to achieve the organizational objective or organizational vision, which is long term. It may not be possible to achieve that in the short term. That's why we have midterm and short term objectives and other things. So this word will continuously coming like A1 and other things, which I will explain in later part of my presentation. A1 is establishment of proactive customer driven business objectives and strategies, A1. Then another one is called an entire organization to achieve the business objective, which I have already explained. But the very important thing is appropriate management system. Mr. Murugan also mentioned management system. So this management system cannot be done by one department alone. So we need cross-functional teams or cross-functional management systems. And we need the core technology. And
sir, one
to
second.
do these things.
1 second, I'll mute everyone. I think there's a lot of background noise. You can unmute yourself, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. So to improve this, to achieve this business objectives, we need appropriate management system, and we need to develop the human resources and also improve your core technology such that we can achieve this. When I talk about B4, I'll explain in the later part of my presentation what is the meaning of B4. Establishment and operation of management system for various purposes such as quality, quantity, delivery, cost, safety, environment, etc. This is the subject I'm going to talk in the later part of my presentation. That is how we are going to establish a management system for quality, quantity, delivery, and other things. I think this is the subject of Professor CYK and Dr. Sanjeev Rao, how we are collecting and analyzing information and accumulation and utilization for knowledge. But this is not just collecting data and then keeping it, but using the statistical techniques. That's where Professor CYK has taught us many things. Even this disciple, I do not know whether he has joined. Now I'm using him. It's called B.V. Iyer, who is teaching us various statistical techniques that include advanced statistical techniques and appropriate scientific method and information technology. This is the requirement. Whatever I am saying is not my own words. These are all the Deming Award requirements. So this is what I told us, A1, A2, B1, B2, all those things. I will focus on certain things because if I focus on these, then it will take more time. So this is the Deming Award criteria. The first one is A and B is one, another one is C. If you see A is planning, B is doing, C is checking and acting. PDCA is coming here. This is maybe in another, in the past 5 years back or 6 years back, the Deming Award criteria was not like this, linking everything. Now they have made it so simple to understand. For example, as I told you, TQM is a set of systematic activity carried out by the entire organization. The purpose is to achieve the organizational objective. To develop organizational objective itself, there should be a clarity. That's called the first one, A1, establishment of proactive, customer-driven business objectives and strategies. That is the first one. In order to do that, you have to do these B2 and B3. I hope all of you can understand B2. B is suitable utilization and implementation of B. That's called B. And B2 is creation of new values. If you create new values, then you can achieve your proactive customer-driven business objectives and strategies. How to do that? You have to understand the customer and social needs. And then you have to innovate technology, or you have to develop your business model. That is how it is linked. And when you come to the right-hand side of the B, that is called B3, this is management and improvement of quality of product and service and our work processes. I know most of you would have would be knowing a lot about TQM. If you see on B2 is almost like a policy management, and B3 is daily work management. If you understand like that, in a broader way, I'm not telling exactly. For that, you need to establish operational management system for various purposes such as quality, delivery, and other things. Who will do that? That's called B6, developing and the utilization of human resources. And as I told you, the IT as well as the statistical technique coming in B5. B5 is collection and analyze and of information and accumulation and utilization of knowledge. This is coming based on your data. That is coming from your B1, B2, B3, B4. B1 is whatever you have established customer-oriented driven, customer-driven business objective and strategies, you have to deploy to various levels. I'll try to touch that subject. It may not be very elaborate, but I'll try to touch that subject, how it is deployed. And I will stop. I'll skip this CSR because CSR is a big subject. But if you see here C1, that is what you have established in A1, you should have achieved. This is the Deming Award criteria. Closer to that, even if you achieve about 95% of whatever target you have fixed, it is okay. In fact, most of organizations where I have worked for Deming Award, they all achieved about 90% of the target which they have set. Somewhere they have achieved 100% also, especially when it comes to profit. I think that's a big subject. So that is what people could not achieve. But for that, everybody has achieved their business objectives and strategies. That's called C1. And if you see C2, outstanding activities and acquisition of organizational capabilities. This organizational capability will come only with people. That's called B6. And that if you want to achieve B6, then you have to focus on B2. That is, you have to create new values for the customer and the society. That's how the whole thing is. Probably I will use this word like A1, E2, B1, B2 somewhere in the subsequent slides. So I hope you all understand this. So first is establishment of business objectives and strategies. Second is doing that is called implementation of TQM in a systematic way. Third is check the result and then change your strategies or goals. This is how the whole PDCA cycle is developed. I will talk about quality. Quality, of course, all of us, there are so many definitions for quality in these 20. I think I heard a lot from Dr. Sanjeev Rao about quality. Yes, taught me many things on what is the definition for quality. Definition for quality, as far as the Deming Award is concerned, you should also consider the society, environment, and future generation needs. This is one of the things which any professor will ask during Deming Award, Deming Award audits. What is the future generation needs? How do you identify that need? And then how you are doing using your B2 creation of new values. That's what I mentioned as future generations. And customers, it is not only the end user or the users, that is a B1, B2B or B2B2C, but also all the stakeholders, including the beneficiaries and other stakeholders. I'll explain briefly about the stakeholders' needs and how we have done in the RSB transmissions, how we have developed our own model for this. The model which we have developed, here you can see on the right-hand side, the drivers, like your core values, the vision, that is the long-term objectives, I'll say. Then your strategies, which are classified into, I have not put the full strategies. Some of them I have put it here: business strategies, HR strategies, infrastructure, technology, and finance. For that, you need the enablers or the people, that is the employees, and you need the material to convert from one form to another form. And for that, you need equipment and facilities, and definitely you need money. And the processes which are in the core essence of the whole processes, whole activity called business development, purchase, new product development, new product introduction. You can go on adding that, but I have not added many because of the space constraint. And for that, you have to use your technology, your knowledge, because the knowledge is many areas, and not only in TQM, but also in your IATF or ISO 9000, skill morale of the employees and information. And based on that, you need to identify the stakeholders' requirement, and you have to fulfill the stakeholders' requirements. The intermittent product is quality, cost, delivery. When I say D1 and D2, one is quantity, another one is time. Then safety. E1 and E2 is environment and energy. And the stakeholders are customers, investors, employees, vendors, society, government, like that. And ultimate aim is, of course, growth, profit. You can add ROI also. That is the ultimate results. This model we have developed, and based on this only we have started working. In that, very important is that the technology development and people development, and then the information technology usage for these. This is how we have grown. In fact, about 15 years back, we were at 350 crores turnover. Now we are doing about 2,000 crores turnover this year. So this is the brief about TQM. Now I will talk about the link between TQM and ISO 9000 IAT 16949. This is the link. Instead of saying quality objective, I've changed the word into proactive, customer-oriented business objectives. Then that is called organizational level objective. Then it is deployed to the functions or departments. These are all listed in a sheet called MPCP sheet. MP is managing point. Some organization call managing point as KPI. And then CP is a checkpoint, that is the process indicators. Then we monitor that. SMART is one more T I have added because I just want to insist on that. SMART is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-bound targets. So these are all for objectives. We have to use these SMART, and these proactive customer-oriented business objectives and strategies are deployed to departmental level or functional level. I'll explain one or two examples also. Then this is another one which we call it as a means in TQM. But whereas in ISO 9001 and IATF, it is called 6.22, which is talking about how to achieve your objectives. That is what will be done, then what resources you require, then who is responsible for doing that activity, maybe a CFT activity, when it will be completed, how the results will be evaluated. So if you decide an objective, that this is what the objective for the department or for the organization, you should know about these 4W and 1H. And chronic and pending issues are the potential issues which you can identify, you have to solve, and then you have to evolve a method to solve that. Then only you can establish very clearly about whether you can achieve your target or not. For that, you need to analyze past failure analysis. We in RSB as well as in SBL, we have used a sheet called A3 sheet. A3 sheet contains what is the objective, whether you have achieved or not. If you have achieved, then you have to revise the target. If you have not achieved, then we have to analyze and then prioritize that. So I'll explain about this prioritization in a simple way. So when you collect data, so appropriate data and information arising from whatever activity you are doing, that has to be understood and clearly analyzed. Based on that, you have to prioritize your activities. So that is what the TQM also says. So if you say that I have collected the data based on my managing point or checkpoint or KPIs, then I have to analyze then whether I have achieved the target. If I'm continuously achieving the target, then we have to revise the target. If I'm not achieving the target, then we have to analyze, and then you can use Pareto, and then during monthly analysis as well as half yearly or once in 3 months analysis. That is what we call it as A3 sheet. Am I going very fast?
No, it's okay, sir.
It's okay. Okay. So this is prioritization, example of prioritization. This is not the actual data. So this is one of the example of phenomena wise. When I say phenomena, a defect is a phenomena, or a breakdown cause would be a phenomena. So if you can see here in the 6 months period, that's a significant improvement, but the shift in A is only towards second position. It should have gone to third or fourth position if you have identified the exact root cause. That is the key issue here. But we will not focus on this, but we will understand this just for the purpose of prioritization. That is, the trends in quality and any operational performance should be compared with progress towards objective. That will lead to action to support prioritization action for some other words are there. So that is why it is coming. So from the gap analysis and prioritization, you have to do root cause analysis for whatever problems what you are facing. Then you have to take a systematic corrective action. When I talk about systematic corrective action, I think just now Sanjeev Rao also mentioned about the Poka-yoke. So Poka-yoke, Kaizen, QC story, these are all some of the methods. That is the systematic corrective action methods. Or the very important point here is about the root cause analysis. I find that root cause analysis, the methodology used, analysis and results, that's a difficult subject for any organization. I have worked with the, as told by Murugan, I am working with the Cafe Motors also, where I found that the root cause analysis is a big issue for most of the organization. I will talk about management now. As I told you, management is rotation of PDCA. There are two types of management we can say. One is called the routine management, which is coming in B3. You might have seen the Deming Award criteria where I have put some columns in that B3. And then the breakthrough management or policy management, that's called B2. Probably I would have used the word like DRM and DWM confusing. So I'm telling you, when I say DWM or DRM, it is meaning of routine management. Routine is something different and breakthrough is something different, where you have to create new values based on understanding of customer social needs and innovation of technology. Whereas routine management is just retain whatever level you have achieved and slightly improve, like quality, service, and work processes. Just to tell you about B3 and B2, I'm giving you, once again, I'm bringing this. B2 is creation of new values, and B3 is management and improvement of quality of products. And this is the difference between policy and routine management. Aim is, in case of policy, it is breakthrough, that is focus for the future, whereas daily work management is a day-to-day or current issues, which is important. Yes, both are important. This question was asked by one of the Japanese consultants. For him, I have prepared this. I have not prepared for NAQ or alone. This question was asked by one of the Japanese consultants who wanted to take me as a consultant. So for him, I have prepared this particular slide. So I just wanted to share with all of you. What is the role? Who has to play a role? The major role by top management in case of policy. And in case of daily work management, especially the shop floor people should be involved. Of course, it is middle management. Where to focus? In case of policy, we have to focus on enhancing the core competency to achieve the breakthrough objectives. Whereas in DWM, reducing variation by removing abnormality. Which is a very, very big subject. This is what I'm going to explain in the later part. That is how to reduce variation and remove abnormalities. Then how to make it successful? The diagnosis by top management is in case of policy. And in case of daily work management, monitoring, review, and control at various levels, shift-wise, daily, weekly, and monthly. This is what Professor Suda also taught us way back in 1999. Then what is the approach? The approach for policy is PDCA, whereas in daily work management, it is SDCA, that is implement the standard and then do as per the standard, check the result, and then act based on that. Whereas here, in case of policy, it is PDCA. Then the QC story type is task achieving, and in case of daily work management, it could be problem solving. I'm saying could be because you can use daily work management also task achieving. There is nothing wrong in doing that, because you can understand here the retainment and improvement is routine management, and breakthrough is the policy management. For that, the basis is exactness and visualization, where all your Kaizen and other things will come. So that's why we call that as exactness and visualization. Exactness and visualization is part of daily routine management. This is the process for daily work management. This is the only process. You can use many processes, but this is one of the processes I found that this is easy to understand. So the business needs and customer needs, based on that, we are establishing the key performance measures, or MPs and CPs. Then we deploy the target or decide the target, and using tree diagram, which I will be focusing in my next few slides. I'll be focusing on what is the meaning of tree diagram. To achieve that, we have to create SOP and then provide training. Then we have to monitor that, and we have to see the deviations from whatever target you have done. And if it is chronic, then you have to use a QC story. If it is sporadic, you have to analyze. The basic example of analysis is whether the standard is followed or the standard is not followed, or there is no standard. That is, there is no standard exist. Then the actions are different. If you continue this SDCA cycle, then you can go to PDCA cycle. That is, you can create new managing point or new measures and the CPs and revise your target. This is what we have done continuously in RSB. I'll share 2 examples how we have done this activity. And the foundation, as I told you, is daily routine management or daily work management. So the purpose of daily work management is to bring a stable and capable process, remove all assignable cost for variation. As I am telling again and again, removing the assignable cost is a big issue, because you have to identify what is the cost and then remove it. So this is also I have prepared for one of the professor Japan who asked me many questions. For him, I have prepared this. One is stability. If you see on the left hand side, it is many things are going out of your control limits. I will not use the word control limit because it will go to SPC. This is actionable limits. For this is higher the better target. So if you maintain within that line on the right hand side, you can see it is stable. That is within actionable limit, but this is not capable. So how to bring both stable and capable? That is where a very important thing is you have to remove all abnormalities for variation. And you can see here it has achieved both capability, because we used to say in the SPC 1.67 CPK or 1.33 CPK. So this is not like that, but this is target line is, for example, you wanted to produce about 1,000 numbers. plus minus variation will always come. That plus minus variation could be due to common cause. So that is the very important thing in daily work management, how you are going to remove all assignable cause and bring a stable and capable processes. When I say processes, it can be inventory, it can be sales, it can be dispatch, it can be anything, not necessarily only related to quality. And the total variation is common cause plus special cause. The purpose of daily work management is to analyze special cause and eliminate that. And the cost per variation are various things which I have listed here, maybe many things more, maybe there are people, the skill level of the people, equipment, tool, materials, methods, measurement, environment, could be many things, but the total variation. But the common cause, you can't remove that. This is what many of the gurus also taught us. Common cause cannot be, because common cause removal will be difficult. So there's some variation will be there. For that only we have given some allowance for these targets. And this is what I told you about the PDCA rotation. The significant difference is cost differentiation between your key customers, your key competitors, and improvement in quality and the features of your product. This is how we are able to improve our market share from around 40% to 60%. I know that it is in M&HCV segment, which is very difficult. I think all of you will appreciate, because there are about 5 key customers are there, and you have to supply to all of them and different requirements. For that, we have improved our technology, we have improved the capability of the people, we have used our IT systems, and I say IT system, information technology, and then focused continuously on improving the cost differentiation, and then improving the quality and the features of our products. And this is one of the example of internal rejection, where I'm going to talk about this as an example, where we are focused and we are at a level of, we are able to go towards the level of 1000 ppm. Of course, we have not achieved the target some areas, and some areas we have achieved the target. And very important thing is we have used the QC tools, advanced statistical tools to eliminate the assignable causes. And the technology level improvement, both process level technology and the process level technology also, we are from around, in fact, it is shown only now up to 17, 18 or 18, 19. Now it is at a very lower level, the current level. So let us analyze and understand 2 objectives to understand tree diagram linked with the daily work management. As I told you, means generally in the TQM, we call it as the means, and in TPM, they call it as KAI, that is key actionable indicators. So what we have done in RSB is we have commonized these things. And I have told Mr. Hassan that we will be using the same methodology of QC story for KK projects, which he has accepted. And we have told, instead of, yes, we will use the KA and other things, but after that we will remove these words once we get the award. That is, as if we have worked for the award, but I have removed those words, KA, we have removed and then put it as means, so that people are not confused. So I will explain 1 or 2 examples. So this is the example 1, that is internal rejections. This is actual reality case. So we wanted to reduce from 2000 to 1000 ppm, and we are focused on reducing the rework from 1600 to 800. That is our focus this year, because this affects delivery performance. Because rework means it requires equipment, so equipment is not available for that. So availability is reduced because you are doing rework, as well as your time taken for that is high, so you are unable to do that. So we have started focusing on that. I'll tell 1 example how we have solved. This is the tree diagram. It goes up to level 4. It can go in some areas, it goes up to level 6. So your target is somewhere in the departmental head, and then it is divided into level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. Level 1 is talking about the target segregation into category wise. One is rework, another one is scrap. Level 2 talks about product wise, what is the rejection. Level 3 talks about process wise, and then level 4 talks about phenomena wise. I'll explain the phenomena later. This is one of the phenomena which I have taken for this training program. Level 3 is, as I told you, process A, where there is 200 ppm, and they have taken a challenging target of 0 ppm for that particular phenomena called bearing boss diameter oversize, and defect is generated in this process. If you look at this, instead of phenomena, if you use the word failure mode, this is more or less like FMEA only. In FMEA also, we go up to process and then go to failure mode and then go to the causes and then what is the current control, and then we establish a new control in case if it is not. So whatever we have done is same way we have done the tree diagram. Probably this is coming from Komatsu tree diagram, which we have learned during my training program in Japan. And these are chronic issues pending from last year. That is the bearing boss diameter oversize could not be solved by daily routine analysis and daily work management. So our focus area for this discussion of topic is process A, and the phenomena is bearing boss diameter oversize. And this is the critical or chronic issues. These are all the chronic issues. Not necessarily all the phenomena will be listed here. Only the chronic issues which are there, which could not be solved during last year, is coming here. After analysis and identification of root cause, then the means or methods are evolved. For example, this is the link with the FMEA. So how to do that? As I told you, phenomena is the failure mode, and then controls are provided in the control plan to control the particular failure mode. In daily work management, when there is deviation, we analyze why. Is it standard followed, standard not followed, or standard is inadequate? Then we analyze root cause and initiate actions. Whereas in this case, it is a chronic problem and they could not solve, so they have analyzed the root cause. And this very clearly shows that the first instance, the FMEA was not done properly. And in that means, in this particular plant where I have seen that means are very low and the phenomena are very low. So what we have done at the bottom, I do not know whether you are able to see, that is proactive means we have developed. That is, we analyze based on FMEA, some of the causes for failures, some could be causes, some could be new failure mode. For that also, we have decided some means. As I told you, the systematic corrective action, root cause analysis, that is called define issues, then identify the root cause, the bottom, what is there in the column I'm reading, then the corrective actions, updating the record documents, training, and continual improvement. This is the problem solving approach, the same thing which I have written here in the easy way to understand. And this is the problem with respect to bearing boss ID oversize. The process A, that is operation number 30, where we do the bearing boss ID machining, and then leak testing. Leak testing is part of the process. Okay means it goes to the next process, but few are not okay. So it goes to the welding again. And during the welding, this distortion started. You can see in Y2 due to distortion on the bearing boss ID. And why this distortion is coming? Because of heat generation. Why we are unwelding? Why we are doing welding? Welding is done because of leakage. So the original process design is like that, but it took longer time to identify the root cause and change the process. What they have done is they have changed the process. They have changed in a different way, which I will explain in the next slide. So this is the overall analysis of root cause identification, and this is what they have changed. What they have done is, instead of first doing machining, first they do leak testing and welding, then they do machining. By this way, whether the root cause is solved, I think the root cause is not solved. Only the effect of the cause is minimized, or effect of the cause is zero now because of the change in process. If you see before and after, where after the leak testing, because this is after the leak testing and welding machining is done, previously we used to get about 300, 400 ppm rework. Now the CPK is 1.67. I don't need to explain anything more than that. I think 1.73, if I'm correct. On the right hand side, I think you could not see that. 1.73 is the CPK. So what we have done is we have used a failure mode. I don't need to explain. Some voice is coming. Any question or? Okay.
Sir, you can continue.
Okay. So this is the operation number 30 and bearing boss ID machining. So ID undersize, ID size is the problem, ID oversize is the problem, and this will lead to fitment issue at customer, that is B2B. So that where the severity is very high. 7 is the severity. So the reason or mechanism of failure is distortion. Why distortion? Due to heat generation. And why we are doing, how the heat is generated? Because of the welding during the rework. This is what the mechanism of failure. So what we have done is, we have changed the process. But as I told you, we have removed the effect, but not the cause. The cause is leakage. Even though small amount of rework should be avoided by this way, but we should avoid even this also. That is, the team should analyze the cause for leakage and eliminate, because this is a technological approach. It may take some time. So what we have done is, immediately we have changed the process, and then we are able to make it zero. And I was told by continuously for 3 months, they have made it zero, this particular phenomena, and they are going towards overall rework rejection towards 150 ppm or so in these 4 or 5 months. The CP value, as I told you, is 1.85 and the CPK value is 1.71. You can see in the action taken I have done, the population is 2,000 numbers and the sample size is 125. So this is the link with the FMEA and the daily routine management. And I will take you another example of that is second example. It's mean time between failure. They have taken a challenging target of 75 to 90, which is a challenging target. And the very important is they wanted to focus on line 1. Line 1 is a capacity constraint, which I have written on the bottom of the table, which is the capacity constraint. So that focus is in line 1, and they have classified the equipment into category A, category B, category C. Category A is the failure would cause serious safety issues, and then it may cause quality issue. Then 24 hours operation, that is called capacity constraint. Then it will affect the delivery. Like that, there are some ranking criteria. So in that criteria, they have identified that category A is very important. So they have identified few areas of improvement, which I will show in the second one. So from 65 in line 1, they wanted to take it to 90 days. And the category wise, category A is very important because that is the first operation that affects the entire line. So they have identified, and in level 4, as I told you, you can go up to level 6. In level 4, they have identified equipments like 600 kV induction heating and other things. I have given the data also, that is past failure, chronic, that is 6 months accumulated data, where I have given the occurrence and hours. Of course, I don't need to explain about MTBF. MTBF is available time minus breakdown time, hours, divided by number of occurrence into 24. So level 4 and level 5 is the phenomena. Phenomena is, for example, 600 kV induction heating only I'm talking about, because of time constraint. I'm not going to talk about everything. For that, there are 5 phenomena. That 5 phenomena is very chronic and could not be solved during daily work management. Require deeper analysis to identify root cause, and also it requires time and money. That's why they have not done this. So probably it could be due to inadequate standard. Where, as I told you, the very important aspect is you have to use 4W1H and identify the means or methods to solve this. So one example of this I'm showing the phenomena, one of the phenomena where phenomena 5, that is water temperature alarm coming. So what they have done is they have changed the PM JH checklist. The mean, the first is the mean 5. You can see that the linkage between P5 and mean 5. P5 is the phenomena 5 and means 5. Clean the heater exchange plate every 6 months. Unfortunately, the manufacturer has not given any recommendation for this. Then the cooling tower fins has to be replaced every year, and the water flow nozzle has to be replaced every year. So this is how the standard is revised, and the PM and JH check sheet revised. And there are many causes like a JH issue, CBM, when I say CBM, condition-based maintenance, and the TBM, time-based maintenance. Many issues are there. That's why it could not be solved. And of course, we have used this method of corrective maintenance. We have deferred this maintenance because we wanted to plan it properly so that it becomes zero. And I was told they have done it in the month of April, and I was told by them, because I have not visited, for the past 4 months, they have no problem at all in these equipments. And the last one, which I wanted to explain, is about the management approach. There are 2 types of solution. One is difficult and costlier. Another one is easier and cost effective. Definitely, all of you will appreciate The problem require care and monitoring can be done through daily work management, which is on the right hand side bottom most. And the simple problems can be solved by Kaizen and Prof CYK on the left hand side bottom most. This is management and improvement of quality of product and service and our work processes, which is B3. You remember that B3. And B2, where we have to create new value for customers and social needs. That's where your technology is coming, and your QC story using advanced statistical tools, or your Kobatsu Kaizen, all these things are coming. But in our opinion, large number of problems can be eliminated by shop floor people just by CLITA, and then the shop floor analysis, maybe Prof CYK and simple Kaizens. That's what I have written in the box on the right hand side extreme end. CLITA is the cleaning, lubrication, inspection, tightening, and adjustments. Probably you know about this. Thank you. I think I have completed 5 minutes earlier. So if there is any questions, then you can ask me, sir.
Sir, this is Raghavan.
Yes, Raghavan.
On your slide, which says outputs, you have mentioned D1, D2, E1, and E2. The QCDMS, which is a generic model which most Japanese people call it as management objectives or whatever terminology is. Can you explain what D1, D2 in your understanding, sir?
Okay. D1, for example, you know about delivery performance. Delivery performance consists of two portions, am I right? One is on time, another one is in full quantity.
Okay,
So D1 is on time and D2 is quantity. Did I explain, sir?
Yeah, that is OTIF, sir. Yeah, clear.
Okay. So E1, E2 is, one is energy and E2 is environment. Because I just planning, because it has not come to a better shape. I am just planning to combine ISO 14001 OSHAs along with the TQM and TPM, including IATF, along with the TQM and TPM, so that people are not confused with those terminology. For that, we have to use this format, that format. We are using only one format for Kaizen, one format for Prof CYK, one format for QC story. We don't, I mean, Kobatsu Kaizen also same 7-step, 9-step approach we are using.
Another query I have.
Yes, sir.
Then how do you measure employee involvement?
Employee involvement, can I answer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Employee involvement, we take, for example, a manager is involvement in QC story and KK project. And then in case of Kaizen, we are measuring based on Kaizen involvement. But our level of improvement is very, very low. It is only about 60% Kaizen involvement, because we have about 60-70% of temporary employees where we are also involving them. Fortunately or unfortunately, temporary employees are giving more suggestions than the permanent employees. So that's why our level of suggestion, plant to plant, it varies. It goes as high as 70-75% only. Whereas the QC story involvement and KK involvement, maybe I'll say about 25%. It's so bad, not good. I'm talking about RSB transmissions.
I want to know, is there a metric you are measuring, like product, services, and process? Are you measuring the QCD, D1, D2? I thought D1, D2 for employee involvement. That was
no.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening, sir. My Muthuganpati from Trivandrum, Trivandrum branch. Excellent talk. Like FMEA, do you use this probability risk assessment, PRA, in industry?
Yes.
Can you please tell about that, sir?
At present, I don't have any material. So, see, that's why I have already told you about this. If you see here, I have told about this concept of AG. I don't know whether I'm able to go there. Let me check. Sorry. That's why I'm using the AAG 4th edition only. So we are using the occurrence ranking and reduction ranking and other things based on past experience, and then predict some of the failures and predict some controls, and then bring those controls. Those controls could be in the process, or those controls could be in the product, or those controls could be in the material. I could not exactly visualize what you are asking for. Can you repeat the question again?
Muthu sir, can we repeat again? So you wanted to know about probabilistic risk assessment, if my understanding is right, sir.
The total FMEA itself is risk assessment only.
Oh, I think he was, I'm not sure what he mentioned as probabilistic risk assessment.
Yeah, that's why I told
I'll
you
just
that-
try to reach him, sir, again.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Any other question?
Muthuganathan sir, you are there online. Could you just ask again?
What is it your question, Mr. Muthuganapati? I think we lost
Type
it.
it, sir. I'll read it. If you type it, I'll read it to sir.
GK,
Yes, Srinivasan.
very well structured presentation with detailed linkage and connectivity. Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. I have got only one question. In the bearing bars oversized problem solving, you have achieved a very good CP and CPK, and your lot size is 2000, and you have taken a sample size of 125. Okay.
Yeah.
At what frequency you have taken that 125? Only that my question.
Okay, it is a long term. You wanted to ask whether this is a long term process measurement or it's a short term process measurement.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we use, yeah, I understand that. We use PP, PPK for that symbol. This is CP, CPK only. The total lot size is 2000 numbers, out of which we have checked only 125 numbers, which means it is about 3 numbers per 2 hours or so, because it's a long, it's a measurement time is more. So we have checked the 3 numbers, and the lot size overall population is 2000 numbers, and the size is 125. So you can divide 125 divided by 3 will be the subgroup. It may not be exactly 125, it can be slightly more than that.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you, Srinivasan.
GK.
Go ahead, Dr. Rangasamy.
I'm here. Good evening.
Good evening, Rangasamy sir.
God bless you, sir. First of all,
Thank
good
you.
presentation.
Thank you very
Very
much, sir.
informative. And I would have only one question here. You thought about strategies of growth of TQM and KPM. What type of strategy for HR your company is able to thrive from the employees, or what type of strategy driven by them?
It's a very, very difficult question, sir. It's a very difficult question, because
Yes.
HR strategies involve 4 or 5 criteria. One, you have to select the talented one outside, which is very difficult because you have to pay very high if you say that. So what the strategy we have decided is we will select at the college level and then train them. That is one of the strategy we have decided. Of course, we need to hire somebody from outside. There is no doubt about that. That is one of the strategy. Second strategy is we have to empower people. That is a simple word I'm using, but it is very difficult. Empowerment means anybody can involve in Kaizen, Spokayoke, and implement that without any hesitation. Even if they fail, we don't question them.
Oh, madam.
I think I have given only 50% of the answer because it is a difficult question.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rangasamy sir.
God bless you.
Swami.
Yes, sir.
Sanjura here.
Guruji.
My congratulations, and you have done an excellent job. Now, only one question, about just throw some light on the TQM principles, 1 or 2, as a part of TQM journey.
Okay, TQM principle, I have explained here only. This is the principle. That is, I don't want to go into the details of everything. The basic principle is you have to establish proactive customer-driven business objectives and strategies. If you link that, how to select a proactive customer-driven business objectives, you need to collect a lot of data and information. That is what is given in B5. That is collection, analyze, information. That is called external data, right? Internal data will come from B, whereas external data for A should come from outside. What type of growth will be there, GDP growth, and other parameters for that. Those things we should understand. We should also understand your competitors. So like that, there are so many activities for A1. For that purpose only, we are having something called B2, that is creation of new values for customers. So that is how the whole thing is linked. In order to do that, you have to constantly improve your operational management system for various purposes, such as quality, maybe NPD, NPI. Because I have seen in many organizations, people are talking about NPD, but nobody talks about NPI. I have seen that NPI is a very, very big challenging task in many organizations. So NPI is also very important. For that also, we need to develop a management system. Like that, these are all done. And you have to continuously focus on B6, that is developing and the utilization of human resources. So that is how the whole thing is linked, sir. I do not know whether I have told you clarity, but if you, I have not touched the subject of A2. A2 is the top management involvement in all these things. If they are not involved, then it becomes difficult. That's why there is a link between A2 and A1 also. There they should also be involved. Did I give you a partial answer at least?
Good. Thank you.
Sir, I'll read out a question from one Mr. Srivatsan. How is the enthusiasm for our companies to challenge the Deming price recently? Is the enthusiasm same as during the late 90s and early 2000? Another query he has added to it is, what could be the reason for companies not coming forward to challenge the Deming price? This is from Mr. Srivatsan from Chennai.
I'm not the right person to answer that, but anyhow, let me try to answer that. So the first thing is, sir, the enthusiasm level is definitely reduced. There's no doubt about that. And the enthusiasm for not only TQM, but also for TPM is reduced. I have seen some organization, they say, no, we'll go only for TPM. And some organization like RSB or maybe even Sundaram Clayton say that we will go for both the TQM and TPM. And you know about Sundaram Clayton, they went up to Japan quality management.
One second, I think there's a lot of background. May I request everyone to mute? I'll mute everyone so that Krishna Swami sir will unmute. Krishna Swami sir, you can unmute, sir, and speak.
Okay, so you are able to hear me?
No, yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, so the enthusiasm is definitely reduced in the industry. Could be due to various reasons. I'm not talking about Corona effect. I'm talking about before the Corona effect also. Could be due to various reasons. Could be the cost of getting Deming Award is so high. Could be one of the reasons. That much is not there, especially when you compare with the 2000s and 2020s. I don't think the same enthusiasm is there. And also, people are afraid to pay very huge sum for the professors coming from for training or consultancy coming from Japan. So these could be the reasons, and definitely the profit is definitely having a hit. But as far as RSB is concerned, we are very clear and determined from day one when I joined that we will achieve Deming Award. We will continue to practice TQM, and later we will go to TPM, which we have done. And we have done for TP, as far as TQM is concerned, we have won the Deming Award for 4 organizations, 3 plants. And for TPM Excellence Award, we have got for 4 plants. And we are continuing with other plants also. We are not stopping that.
Okay, one more reason could be the organizations are looking QMS as a different, TPM, TQM as a different. That is could be one of the reason also.
One second,
They have not understood
the queries. Yes,
They are going to follow. Yes, GK.
They have not understood the meaning of QMS.
Correct.
Okay, that's QMS is, as I told you, QMS is the word quality is not, as I told you in the beginning, quality is not related to only customers. It relates to all the stakeholders like a government, society, your supplier, everybody is involved in that.
May I request Mr. Jagannath Rao sir to ask a question?
Sir, I'm Jagannath Rao here. Good evening.
Good evening,
I have
sir.
a small question. So, in one of the categories, problem solving, you said the use of QC tools and statistical analysis. So, while solving the problems, who will do the statistical analysis? Because nowadays in the companies, we have got people who are permanent roles. We have got maybe 50% contract employees who don't know the local language. So these type of problems are there. So who is going to use the statistical analysis? Quality Control Department or the concerned groups?
I think this question is, I don't know why this not moving. So there are two type of statistical tools. All of you may be knowing. One is the simple 7 QC tools, which the shop floor people can also use. Whereas the tools like DOE and other things, only managers and the experienced persons can use. So we have to focus continuously on training people. For example, a simple Pareto and making cost center diagram. Making cost center diagram, you need a lot of technical knowledge, isn't it? So that type of training we are providing. And as far as any contractual workers, that is people in the shop floor level as operators or helpers, we don't involve them in doing this. They are involved only in making kaizens. They don't use any statistical concepts or something like that.
So how do we
Did I give you-
empower them? Empowering them will become a problem, you know.
Empower them is using kaizens. Kaizen involvement is empowering them. Some of them cannot do kaizens. For example, implementing kaizen cannot be done by everybody. So they will give only suggestions, and that suggestion will be improved and then slightly modified and then done by the supervisors or managers. That is how the involvement is done. But you can't train all the people on even basic 7 QC tools, sir.
Yeah, there is one company.
It's not possible also.
Your TVS group company in Pondicherry, that is Lucas TVS. You know, there you have the girls coming in groups. They even the DOE problem they are able to present. That company.
Yes, sir. I accept that.
Even advanced companies, they are not able to present. So
correct,
those
sir.
girls
That's
are very
true,
good.
Yes, sir. Definitely, that's true, sir. That depends upon organization to organization, their principles, their core values, and other things.
May I request? Thank you, Jagannathan sir. Mr. GK sir, just give me a second. I'll request Mr. Janardhan sir if he's there, so that he can share any thoughts he has on this meeting or on the topic. Janardhan sir, are you there, sir? Since there's no response, sir, just somebody wants an at least an expansion of NPI, and we'll stop this question and answer session. NPI, what is NPI? Somebody wants to know.
Okay, if you say that a new product is developed, but new product is introduced. New product is developed and it is in the R&D, but new product is not introduced in the shop floor. It is a mere waste. I have seen in some of the organizations where myself and Dr. Swaminathan worked together. That's now I think I can name because we are not associated with that organization and no one has joined also from that organization. It's called Medimix. In Medimix, they have listed so many products, maybe about 25, 30 products they have kept. So I asked them, what is the purpose? They told, no, we have, as far as we are concerned, we have developed, that's all our job is. But of course, it's a different organization. But developing alone is not very important. Cost effectively, you have to develop and then introduce in the shop floor. And then you have to ensure that customer requirements are understood and then fulfill those requirements continuously. That is the meaning of NPI, new product introduction. And for example, I will tell you the meaning of new product introduction. Some organization, I'm not going to name the organization, they develop a new product and then for 1 year, they work on correcting the problems one by one. That is not a smooth new product introduction. Example, I'm telling you one example. So this is how it goes. That is the meaning of NPI.
Janardhan sir, you want to share something, sir?
Yeah.
Please, sir.
Hello, Raghavan. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
No, sir, you should thank Dr. VS, sir. I'm just the coordinator, sir.
I want to congratulate GK. As
Thank
you
you,
know,
sir.
he is our product. He is our product.
Definitely, sir. Definitely, sir.
So I think from now onwards, we should call him Professor GK. I think he has done outstanding. I'm so proud. And somebody I worked with has become such an expert on TQM. And I'm sure now Juice will employ him as a consultant for Japanese companies. I think that will happen. I don't know whether GK is already doing that.
No, sir. No, sir. I'm doing only in Kenya, sir. Outside India, only in Kenya.
No, don't worry. Juice will invite you soon.
Yeah.
Wish you all the best. Wonderful morning. This early morning for us.
Yes, sir. I know that. Yes, sir.
That, I'm glad. You know, CYK, I think he did one program for us in SBL.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I think the boys were so excited to interact with him. It is a tragedy that we lost him so early. Anyway, I'm glad NAQR is always, good in this. Thanks, Raghava. I don't want to take more of your time. Wish you all the best.
Yeah.
Wish you all
In
the best.
fact,
Thank you very much.
Sir, in fact, CYK made all our operators to draw a control chart. That was one of the best thing he did in our company.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, Janardhan, sir. Thanks for joining from the US.
Yeah. Okay. Good day.
Thank
Good
you,
day to you all.
Thank you,
Gauri,
sir.
sir. Could
Thank
you
you,
Thanks
GK.
all of you.
Gauri, sir, please. Thank you, sir.
Now,
Chief guest speak.
இதை remove பண்ணிடுவேன். Slide remove பண்ணிடு.
To introduce him. He may not require an introduction, but still as a formality we have to do it. Please, Barney Perumal, sir.
Thank you, Gauri, sir. Hope I am audible.
Yeah, go ahead, Barney. You're perfect. Done. Good.
Very good evening to you all. Indeed, it was a very good presentation by Mr. GK. It was well structured and the concepts are linked very well. Thank you, Mr. GK, for your wonderful presentation. Now I continue with the job given to me. I'm very happy and blessed to introduce Mr. K.N. Krishnamurthy, who is fondly called as K&K by us. Mr. K.N. Krishnamurthy, a mechanical engineer from Madras University, completed middle and senior management course at IIM Ahmedabad. Started his career in manufacturing and assembly at Ashok Leyland, rose to the position of production manager, from where he moved to quality function and played a significant role in restructuring quality function to meet the increased customer demands. He was responsible for implementation of quality management systems and quality circles at Ashok Leyland. From manufacturing, he moved to marketing to take care of sales activities at different capacities and was special director customer service. One of his significant contribution to society through Ashok Leyland is the establishment of a driver training center at Namakkal, which has recently completed training of 2 lakh drivers. It was a wonderful initiative. And Mr. K&K is the president of STS, which is known as Single Teacher School, which is running 1,400 schools in the villages across Tamil Nadu, wherein nearly 40,000 students are studying. As a holistic development of villages, they have constructed and handed over 1,400 toilets and bathrooms for poor villages. They have desalted 45 temple tanks so far, and medical camps are a common feature of STS led by Mr. K&K. I'm happy to invite K&K for his chief guest note, please. Over to Mr. K&K. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Mr. K&K, please. Sir, please unmute yourself.
Just unmute. K&K has to unmute.
Yeah, he's doing it.
Either Raghavan,
Now, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Sir, K&K, sir, you're audible. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you. First of all, let me express my sincere thanks to the NIQR for inviting me to preside over the function in connection with the CYK Memorial Lecture. Probably that I still remember Mr. CYK so vividly, that we have had an excellent relationship with each other, and also in NIQR in most of the operative functions. He was not only a guru to all of us, but also a guy who was able to introduce many novel things in NIQR. Somebody was telling the other day, just now, that I think Swaminathan was telling that control charts were prepared by the operators. Normally, when he talks about the control chart, he always brings different types of sticks with variations in length. And that was his, report. And then he will demonstrate to them how these things are changes and what more need to be done to ensure that the process is under control. One of the major things that I can still think about CYK, he wants NIQR to take up the training program so seriously. We always insist that I think we should be a sort of a messiah for all the the automobile ancillary manufacturers and so on and so forth. While he says that that is the only thing where NIQR can stand, a very good opportunity to ensure that we will achieve quality to a larger extent. And with his thing, I also remember that I think when Ravichandran and Ramchandran and Krishnaswamy and others made that small book on Tamil about the shop operating course, CYK was also an advisor along with Chandran and suggested so many changes. Probably when we started the Kaizen, CYK was the first one to talk about Kaizen. And perhaps he had invited me a number of times to ISI for taking on ISO 9001, the service functions, because I was the service head in a Shukla at that time. And his sudden loss was a big blow to NIQR in the shape of things to come. And as far as today's lecture is concerned, GK is known for the implementation of quality and SBL, went on to win the Deming Prize. And he, along with the management team, headed by BRJ and Mr. Nagesh, were responsible for achieving that target at the shortest possible time. But at one point of time, I think Mr. Nagesh was mentioning that this is like a university. I did not he. The Cheshire when he visited the SBI and then interacted with some of them. And perhaps I think one of them was our GK. And he says it's like a university and people are able to say so many things that I am able to, learn quite a lot from them. It is good. But I think today's lecture points out something, while on many things that we say that I think we are in line with him. One of the things that what he mentioned, it touched me, is the customer value. Today, I think every company, when it was looking for it, even for the Deming Award, even at that time, what is it for me? When we say, is my profit is going to increase? Is my, the brand value is going to go up? Or is it that my return on income is going to come? Whereas I think these things cannot be put on a table at that point of time. People used to say that if you practice all these things and then be a TQM company, you can't but get all these things. But whereas today I could see GK is elaborating how this can be achieved very easily. Thank you, GK. It was a very good lecture and a presentation, which will definitely open the eyes of many of them who are doubts whether all these things are really necessary for that. Probably, I think you can also give a consultation to SBL, whether they are still practicing this, or is it that you would like to give them some more of this thing by making them, at that point of time, they said they wanted to be number 2 or 3 in the world. One thing which comes to me today is with the disruption of technologies in various areas, disruptive technologies in various areas. Today's requirement of the quality paradigm needs to be revisited. Perhaps I think some of them today we are talking about artificial intelligence. We are talking about digitalization. We are going to talk about, I think, various other aspects of it. We are going to come. Even the automobile industry is going to make a basic changes. while on one hand, the principles of TQM will continue to remain the same, but how this can be suited or adopted for the new type of an industry which is coming, and how that we can make this. Because today, I think we talked about delivery. One of the major employment areas today in India, I think, as I could see in the last 3 years or so, is the delivery service delivery. Service delivery itself would have employed not less than about 1 crore of people in this country. Is there any quality which has come into that to make sure that I think, while I think we can set standards saying that what we can do, so we must start looking at this aspect of it much more closely in the changed circumstances. This is my view, and I thought that I think the NIQR must take it forward and then move forward towards this. Because a lot of service industries are going to gain in a very big way as we go along. And I said that we must be there to take care of those industries. Once again, I thank you all for giving me an opportunity to be there, to meet, and then talk to many of our old colleagues. It is nice of VRK to speak from US, and also I could see the past presence of NIQR here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Excellent thought-provoking speech at the back end of the session. Thank you very much. The COVID-induced restrictions have put us in difficult times for the last 1.5 years or so. But it has given us some benefits also. So today's CYK program, we are having daughters, all 4. Good morning, madam, and good evening, madam. So I request them to share a few with us. Please, one by one.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, so much in Seva Krishnamurti, and you all family know as CYK. Satisfaction and ISL partner, and above all, a wonderful father.
Little louder, please.
Younger. He was also committee member of the Rajiv Gandhi National Quality Award aware of. Fortunately, he would have been 80 who was among us today. Incidentally, happens to be his birthday today. He was associated with National Institute of Quality Reassurance back from the days when it was National Institute of Quality Assurance, for which he was very proud of and happy. After he was a quality assurance man. There is also another side of him with which we are associated. Obviously, that was a father. We are the living examples of his success as a father. In particular, we would like to thank Sri Gauri Shankar and Sri Sanjeev Rao, whom we fondly know as Sanjeev Rao Uncle, who have been associated with us like a family. We also would like to thank all the participants in this lecture to interact with one another. Thank you, Sri G. Krishnaswamy, for your lecture in this regard. Also, I am very happy to know that Sri TQM Principles is very closely associated with our father. I thank him for presiding over this. We thank NIQR for arranging the next lecture almost every year. Thank you. Thank you, Anila. Yes, that was my elder sister. I am the second daughter of CYK. My name is Sujata. And good evening, first of all, gentlemen. And firstly, I'd like to thank all of you to remember my father was conducting his lecture in a big way. We are grateful to everyone for speaking about our father in high respect, particularly to Sri Krishnaswamy for his lecture, of which my father would have been very proud. My father was a guiding force for all of us, and each of us is motivated by him in each of his aspects. For example, I'd like to just take one example where Sri Bangarati said that he never seen my father angry or lose his temper. But probably that is one side of him that only we are associated with, and not the on us that side and help us to be what we are today. And I would also like to say that each of us as myself was motivated by you. And today all will stand before you united. And one of the major guiding forces for to happen this way his Beta, our mother, who have been very supportive of him in whatever he did or whatever he said to realize that. We are very thankful, and it is their cumulative effort that we are living independent and happy and a good life because of them. I am sure my parents will be happy to see us like this. Thank you once again. Thank you very much.
Yes, Madam Silva, Madam, please.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Namaste. I'm the third daughter of Professor CYK Srilata from California. This is really a great honor. We are actually very grateful to NIQR for arranging these lectures in memory of our father. I also heartfully thank all the efficient and experienced people here. It is a great opportunity to see everybody, to meet everybody in Zoom, thanks to COVID in a way. Thank you so much for arranging these lectures in memory of our father. I also heartfully thank all the efficient and experienced people here and Sri Krishnasamy for the great presentation. I've never been to Dad lectures, and this is probably one of the first that I'm seeing in person. It's a great opportunity for us to be here. And Professor CYK, as we all know him, he's successfully accomplished in his career, in his professional life. He's, like my sister said, he's also a great father. For me, he has been a best friend, and he's also a life coach in a way. And he's instilled some great values in all of us, in all four of us, in every way. Like my sister was sharing, some of the values that I'd like to share, at least I believe in what I'm doing today, is always be number one, irrespective of the task that you do. And it could be being as a professional in a company, or it could be even cooking in the kitchen, to the smallest task that you're doing, be number one in what you do. I've applied this all through my life. It keeps reminding me all through my life. And the second thing is respect time and people. Both are very valuable. And I think we have tried to apply, all four of us have tried to apply all these through all these years, and also ingrained these values to his grandchildren. Thank you again for allowing us to speak here. And also huge and special thanks to Sanjeev Rao uncle, as we all know him, as we all used to call him, and Gauri Shankar uncle, for keeping us updated on this event, and also the communication between us and NIQR. Thank you so much. And it's great to see you all. Thank you, uncle.
Good. Yes, Teja, Madam.
Hello all, this is Teja Bala. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I mean, I don't think I can beat anything my sister said. I think it's really a great honor. I'm going to repeat half of what they said. I definitely want to say that I don't think I'll be sitting in this room and even be participating in this lecture if I was not CYK's daughter. I think to be amongst such learned gentlemen and to be listening to this lecture is in itself is a great honor. And I'm really grateful to NIQR for hosting his lecture and keeping his memory going. I do have a couple of memories that I'd like to share. One was during my MBA presentation. I mean, he has always kind of said that you should be number one, you should be up there and going. One of the things that he did, he came with me for my MBA interview. It was a two-day interview, and in that, he actually prepared the slides for me. The best part of it was he prepared the slides. He actually printed the slides with using, the material that he kind of put together. That slide presentation, I asked him, why do we need to, print it and, kind of prepare the slides printed? And his thing was, this is what makes you different from everybody else. Everybody else would probably be writing. You by virtue of taking the printed slides in itself shows how committed you are to something, what you're doing. And that has definitely gotten me this far. That printed slides, the first thing that the interviewer kind of said, wow, I'm really, you're the first person that I've seen who has printed the slides. So this in itself shows how committed you are, how perfect you are in whatever you're trying to do. And that has taken me along in everything that I do today. And there are really so many stories. We could just be talking about him for days. Yeah, I mean, there's so many small things too. Once we were just driving in a car. My dad was driving in a car and it was raining outside. And while we were driving, there were a couple of people who were running and everybody else were kind of, you know, how Indian roads are, they were just kind of driving. He actually stopped the car for those people to walk. And I asked him, why are you stopping? It's raining. We should be going. And he said, no, I see there are a couple of people who are trying to cross. They're not able to cross. It's raining outside. These are the smaller things that make us stand apart. So you should try and notice those smaller things, you know, finer details is what makes us a person who we are. So, and I'm hearing my kids listening to this lecture on the other side. I mean, they are amazed how much they're just kind of rolling their eyes. Wow, so many people in honor of, you know, your dad. Unfortunately, we couldn't know him. So I don't know what to say. That deficiency is probably going to be there for the rest of our life. There are so many stories we do tell them. Hopefully they can take some of his values and kind of grow with that. So having said that, thank you so much. I really, all of us really appreciate the opportunity to get a couple of words to say how we feel about my dad. Thank you.
Thank you, madams. Excellent sharing of your memoirs of your great father. Now it is time for our Raghavan National Secretary, Treasurer to give the vote of thanks.
Good evening, all. I think I share a very different thing. I was a student at ISI from 1989 to 1991, where I came to Chennai for my project work. So I used to spend time with Professor CYK and Ardhanari sir. So for me, it's a very touching lecture. So on behalf of NIQR, I would like to thank the people who have made this presentation possible in a chronological order. I'll start with Dr. V. Swaminathan. I think he's always been one who welcomes all of us to all meetings. Dr. A.S. Rao, I think as an ISIN, I think he knows Professor CYK, and as a family friend, I think the way you all refer to him, my regard for him keeps going higher and higher. May I also thank the students of Mr. CYK, Mr. G. Rangarajan. I still remember him sharing with me his experience of studying SQC and OR with Dr. Ravichandran at ISI. Thank you, Mr. Murugan, our Vice Chairman, Chennai branch, for introducing the speaker of the evening, Mr. Krishnaswamy. And I thank Mr. Krishnaswamy for what I think should have been rated as one of the best lectures. I have been associated with the CYK Memorial for the past many years. And thanks for sharing that you were taking DOE lectures with him at ISI, Chennai. I thank Mr. Bharani Perumal, Secretary, Chennai branch, for introducing our chief, or I'll say a special speaker for the evening, Mr. K.N. Krishnamurthy. Thank you, K.N.K. sir, for a very different approach to the entire session. And you are saying that let us look at quality with a new set of eyes. And it has been a great pleasure listening to you all from whichever part of the world or you are all there. Family of CYK, I bow my head to you. And last but not the least, people who make their time and effort to join a program, even if it's on a virtual mode. I thank each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart to honor somebody and remember somebody's contribution to the world of quality. Thanks a lot once again for spending time with us. Thank you.
Thanks all of you. Hope to see you next year also.
Okay, good. Good. Excellent, Gauri Shankar.
Thank you all of you.
Thank you, GK.
Thank you all of you.
Thank you.
GK.
Thank you, Murugan.
Thank you, GK. Shankar Narayan this side.
Shankar Narayan, you have joined.
Shankar Narayan, silent player.
உங்க குரு இருக்காருங்க.
I know. I saw
Hello,
that.
Sangaranarayana.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
very bad. நீங்க பேசணுமே. நீங்க இன்னே வரல போல இருக்குன்னு நான் நினைச்சிட்டு இருக்கேன்.
Sankarananan, for some of you who are still there, Sankarananan is our executive director in RSB. Myself and Sankarananan, we worked together to get the Deming Award, TPM Excellence Award. Of course, I set him aside for TPM Excellence Award because he is executive director for 11 organizations, 11 plants, in fact, in India. In my opinion, he is one of the expert in many methodologies. If you say that TQM or TPM or manufacturing methodologies, whatever you say, he is one of the best experts. And the technological aspect of him is such a great thing. Even German will learn from him. That I have seen in these 15 years working along with him.
Sangaranarayana, mobile number, please.
Yeah.
Sangaranarayana, mobile number, please.
933-480-6125.
ஜாலியா இருக்கிறீங்க. மீட்டிங் முடிஞ்சு போச்சு, கவலைப்படாதீங்க.
Yeah, I know. I understand. Okay. So I don't want to. I am fine. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm fine. So great presentation, GK. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Okay. My boss has joined from USA. You might have seen him.
I saw his. He was also commenting.
Yes.
Yeah. And I saw Mr. KNK also. My first boss.
ஒன்னு ரெண்டு உங்க ஆர்கனைசேஷன்ல சுட்டு தான் போட்டுருக்கோம்.
Okay. That's okay. I saw that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you all of you.
Okay. Thank you.
Sanjeev Rao irkara?
Irkar sir.
Guruji. KNK is left us. KNK is there.
I think he's
KNK, GK, Guruji number 2. உங்க சிஷ்யன் இருக்காரு பாருங்க KNK.
Good, great show.
நமஸ்காரம் சங்கரநாராயணன்
bowling போடலாமான்னு கேளுங்க அவர்ட்ட. Thank you, Gauri Shankar. Yeah. Great organized.
Thank you.
The best way you have organized, Gauri Shankar.
Yeah.
Thank you, Srinivasan and other people. Can I leave now?
Yes, sir. You can leave, sir. Yes, sir. You can leave.
Because without approval from Swaminathan, I cannot leave.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, GK.
Thank you all of you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank
I
you.
will be closing the meeting now. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Raja sir. Enjoy Pannela.
Oh, yes, really, I enjoyed. Thank you. It was nice, very nice.